Welcome along to the first extra time League of Ireland voice note. Keith Treacy and I coming to you from Richmond Park, where we've seen St. Pat's draw 1-1 with Derry City. We'll also be hearing from Mount Hawk Park, where Cobh Ramblers beat Kerry by 2-0, Kerry's first night in the League of Ireland. Andrew Morrissey of Radio Kerry will join us from there. We're going to hear from John Flanagan, the former Dundalk captain, because Dundalk drew 1-1 at home to UCD tonight. Along with us also tonight, we've got reaction from Joe Gamble, who was witness to Bo's 2-1 win against Cork City at Turner's Cross. Keith Treacy, as we're here, let's concentrate on this game first. I suppose it was the feature match of the night. St. Pat's won, Derry City won. Derry City going 1-0 up through McAniff in the first half. Pat's equalising late on through a scrappy enough Joe Redmond goal. What did you make of it?
I thought it was nip and tuck. I thought Derry were the better team in the first half. Pat's huffed and puffed towards the end of the first half, but once Derry went and got that goal through McAniff, you sort of feared for Pats whether you're going to be blown away, because Derry are very capable of doing that to the large majority of teams in this league. But Pats just hung around in the game, didn't really do anything, but coming into the last 20 minutes, they made a couple of changes, changed formation, and they seemed a little bit better. There was more quality coming into the box. They looked an awful lot more dangerous. And I think Tim Clancy will be delighted with the point.
What do you think he said at half-time? Because Pats, I won't say they were a different team in the second half, because they actually took a while to get going, but they did improve in that second half.
I think they needed to move the ball a little bit quicker. I know they were up in the 60% of the possession, but there's no point having the ball if you're just passing it around the back of your own 18-yard box. They needed to get the ball from back to front a little bit quicker, utilise the pace of some of the wingers, and I think it will get better with time. Obviously, Tom Lonergan's making his second St. Pat's debut, was feeding off scraps, looked an awful lot better when he made some substitutions. But like I said, first game of the season, can't read into it too much either way, but I think Pats will be happy. Derry, not so much leaving Richmond Road tonight.
No, let's completely overreact, because that's the nature of this podcast. We're going for those tabloid-like headlines and hot takes, as they call them in journalism now. We'll talk about Derry. We'll concentrate on them in a while. But what about St. Pat's? Odamusu had some good moments tonight, had some dodgy moments. Lewis, you could say the same, making his debut for the club tonight. Creada looked like he's got something a bit about him. Lonergan, as you say, settled into the game. And then off the bench, Atakai did what we know he can do. Almost created a goal chance, had a penalty claim as well. Owen Doyle held the ball up really well when he came in. And Mulroney looked good from play, but his delivery was first class as well.
Yeah, really liked the look of Mulroney. Once or twice he went on the outside. Clearly has the pace to be able to run past people, which is what you like. Once or twice he put balls into the box that were hit by the first man, but that will come with time. And yeah, Creada in the middle as well. He looks like he has a pass. Once or twice he got Sam Curtis in behind at the start of the game. Some of his deliveries from set pieces were really, really good as well. And if you have Creada in there with Forrester as well, so much of people, when they come to Pats, will think, let's go and deal with Chris Forrester in the middle of the pitch. So if they're going to overload and get bodies in around Chris Forrester, you need somebody like Creada as well that can go and hurt the opposition. And clearly Pats seem to have that now.
What did you like about Derry City tonight?
Just how comfortable they were. They looked like a team who knew what they were doing. They were prepared to let Pats have the ball. Sometimes you see a so-called bigger club coming here, Pats having possession, thinking we can't have this, we got to go and get the ball. But they were very, very comfortable in their shape. They moved well as a unit. Pats, they had one or two decent chances. The Doyle header probably could have done a little bit better with. Other than that, there was decent balls into the box. They didn't defend well at times, but no real openings from a Pats point of view from open play. So I'm sure Ruairdhi Higgins, he won't be happy with the point tonight, but as a start and out point, not too bad. Not a bad performance anyway from Derry.
Obviously nothing about tonight I think would have changed what you think these teams will do this season. For you, are Derry very much title contenders? Are they possibly the favourites given the experience that they have and the fact that Shamrock Rovers, while they have a good squad, there's an awful lot of change in there?
I wouldn't put them as favourites, O'Shane, I'll be honest with you. I still think Rovers will go on to win the league. I do think Derry will push them that little bit closer, but I think the rest of the league will be a little bit closer. I think Pats will get closer to Derry. I think Dundalk will be that little bit closer. But in my opinion, I still think Rovers will go on and win it. But like I say, Derry are more than capable of putting a run together, going and beating Rovers. And look, if Rovers get bogged down in Europe again this season, there's every chance that they could be caught by Derry. I know it didn't materialise last season, but yeah, I like Derry. I think they'll get closer, but I still fancy Rovers, I have to be honest.
Keith, we're going to be doing this an awful lot here this season because you and I are on the games for LOI TV at Richmond Park. Just before I let you go, wasn't it just great to be back tonight? The place was packed, it was sold out, it was a great atmosphere. You know, we had the drama of St. Pat's going behind and then getting the equaliser late on. It was just everything we love about the league was on display tonight.
Yeah, it was everything. I said to you beforehand, Oisin, the car has a flat tyre, so I had to get the Lewis up today, and I got off at the Lewis stop. I was walking through. You could feel the buzz in the air. I could start smelling the fried onions as I was walking towards the stadium, and all the feelings were just starting to come back. And you know, very rarely I miss not playing a game of football, but today I was half thinking I wouldn't mind being out there. But yeah, it's great to be back. And look at we saying like, at times the Irish League can be a bit physical, but everybody's going about it the right way these days. And look, it's a pleasure to be a part of and be able to comment on it.
And a pleasure to have you on the first ever Extra Time League of Ireland Voice Note podcast. Keith, thank you very much. You'll be back here next week for the game against Shelbourne. Shelbourne drawing 0-0 with Drogheda tonight at home. And not a great start for Shelbourne, but a very good start for St. Pat's, who fell 1-0 down, were dominated for large periods, but got the equaliser through Redmond. Keith Treacy, for now, thank you very much. Let's hear from the St. Pat's and Derry City camps. It is the Extra Time League of Ireland Voice Note. I'm on the pitch at Richmond Park with Tim Clancy, the St. Patrick's Athletic manager. Tim, a 1-1 draw on the opening night of the season. Are you happy, sad or indifferent?
I'm probably a bit indifferent. I thought we deserved something out of the game. I think Dixon Derry, very good team. We spoke about not making mistakes, because if you do make mistakes against them, the quality they have, they'll punish you, and that happened with their goal. Joe Redmond, uncharacteristic mistake. He's tried to play the ball when he should have just cleared it in the middle of the pitch, and they broke, and I think McAnuff gets a good finish. So disappointing with the goal we conceded, because we sort of gave an opportunity that we should have avoided, but the way we responded was good, and this we getting a late goal sort of sends you away a little bit happy.
Is that one of the immediate learnings that you can take from tonight? Because maybe you need to take him down outside the box, and I know that's cynical, but look, if it's good enough for Man City, it's probably good enough for St. Pat's, Derry and everyone else. Well,
listen, I think you're probably playing against the best team in the league for the cleverness and whatnot. Sorry, that Derry showed. They'll constantly stand over free kicks. People don't get booked, when I think they had, at one stage it was 14 fouls to 4, and they had no players booked. I think we might have 2, so they're very clever, and that's what they are. They're experienced, they're a good team. And that's not just about the technical footballers they have, but they're very good, and they don't give up many chances. So a set piece is what's done them today. I'm sure he'll be a bit disappointed with that, but it's a positive for us.
When I suppose fans look at your team tonight, they'll particularly focus on the new players, but that's a good thing because they actually played well. Noah, very good. Creada was excellent. His delivery was good from set pieces. Mulroney, when he came off the bench, made a big difference.
Yeah, and Tommy led the line very well.
And Tommy as well, yeah. Sorry.
So yeah, listen, we've brought in a few players that were good. Sorry, my chest is at me there. There's plenty of positives to take from tonight, and I think the lads will only get better as the season goes on. The new lads when they get used to the league.
And just before I let you go, how good was it to be back in front of a packed house and a support base that got behind you, made noise, made it an occasion? In the past, League of Ireland games sometimes haven't felt like occasions. Tonight it did, and I think that's going to be a regular occurrence, as it has been for a while here.
Yeah, and again, it was sort of like the end of season feel there, where there's something up for grabs and there's stuff riding on the game. Sorry, but a lot of the players will respond to that, and they see the fans and the atmosphere and the flares going off. And listen, to send them home reasonably happy with a late goal is a positive on our behalf.
Tim Clancy, thanks for talking to the Extra Time League of Ireland Voice Note.
Cheers, thank you.
Very pointed on Shakur, season off and running. Disappointing the way you lost it in the last couple of minutes.
Aye, of course, and we've done that to a lot of teams ourselves. Have scored late goals, and it's difficult to accept when it happens against you. But we probably conceded too many set plays late in the game, and it was one too many, and they punished us. But given the bodies that we didn't have available here tonight, given Michael Duffy got injured in the warm-up, McJanna comes off in the first half. We had to adapt, and I think we've done that, but there's no disgrace coming down here and picking up a point, even though we would have obviously liked 3.
With Diallo suspended, as you mentioned there, the injury to Michael Duffy before, McJanna just before half time. Obviously some plans go out the window, but you had no problem throwing Jordan McAnuff in there for his first start for Derry, and he done very well.
He done really well. We've good players here, and they're all good players, and I trust every single one of them. And Jordan done really well tonight, and he'll only get better from this.
I suppose in the first half, he created absolutely clear cut chances. Maybe disappointing not to go on.
We would have liked them went down maybe 2 up at half time. It wasn't to be, and there was always going to be a period of pressure from the home team because they're a good side. They introduced really good players as well in the second half, and we come under a wee bit of pressure. But by and large, we stood up to it. Apart from that one lapse from a set play.
All things considered, the point is okay here in the capital.
It's no disaster. Some Pats have improved. They're a really good side, and for me, they'll be right there. So we take the point and move on.
Well, just a word on the injuries with Cameron and Michael Duffy. Is there an assessment already?
No, well, Michael's a bit of a slight calf problem. McJanet's a bit of a hamstring issue, so we'll see. But we've a really good squad here, and people are more than ready to come in if needed.
Suppose then, Murray, it's Cork at home next week. You always say in all your interviews it's all about the next game after this 90 minutes is over, and I suppose you've seen the fans down here, they've travelled, and it's just a matter of getting back home now and seeing what the Brandywell produces next week.
Our supporters were amazing tonight, really good. They deserve so much credit travelling and the numbers that they did, the distance that they did, and our players really appreciate it. We really appreciate it as a football club, and we look forward to getting home next week and trying to put in a good performance for them.
And I suppose finally, Murray, maybe a word on your debutants tonight. Admiral Riley, he's an absolute pest in that midfield, and I suppose young O'Neill didn't think he was going to start under that injury, threw him in there, and he performed quite well.
He done well. He bit of magic for Ryan Graydon's chance. He's got that quality, and Adam O'Reilly, considering getting a bit of stick coming back to his last club and putting in a performance like he did, doesn't surprise me.
Derry manager Rory Higgins speaking to the Drive 105 crew there after the 1-1 draw here at Richmond Park against St. Pat's. Now, I'm sure he would have done a one-on-one interview with me had I asked, but he had done so many interviews after the game. He was absolutely freezing. I said, you know what, I'll just take the audio from Drive 105 because I didn't want to keep him on that pitch any longer than was necessary. I'm actually going to be working with the Drive 105 crew in the next couple of weeks, and I have to say I'm really looking forward to it. Let's go from Richmond Park up the road to Dundalk. Dundalk opening their League of Ireland 2023 season with a 1-1 draw against UCD. There's no way of glossing this one up. That's a disappointing result for the Lily Whites, who went 1-0 up through John Martin, but Kieran Behan, a great night for the 21-year-old, got the equaliser. John Flanagan was co-commentating on this game for LMFM and LOI TV, and after the match, the former Dundalk captain sent us this voice note.
Dundalk definitely looked at shadow themselves from last season, looked undercooked, looked like they didn't have enough time in pre-season for the new players to bed in, or definitely not enough pre-season games. They created very few chances of note. An early penalty missed by Pat Hubin, and then one quality flowing move in the first half where they scored. But apart from that, an awful lot of shots from distance and half chances. UCD, full of energy as they always are, worked till the end, and they probably had the standout performer in the game, and young Behan up front. Real handful, real quality player, and he scored a sensational free kick to equalise for UCD. He could be the next one on the conveyor belt. It's going to be snapped up by a bigger club. He looked really quality. I think Andy Myler definitely going to be the happier of the two managers. And his side's performance away from home, a point in Oriel Park, he'll take that. Stephen O'Donnell has an awful lot of work to do to try and get this squad to knit together and bed in, to try and pick up some points. They have a very, very tough game next week now in Bohemians, so we'll have a hard week's trainer.
Former Dundalk captain John Flanagan sending us his thoughts on the Extra Time League of Ireland Voice Note podcast, coming to you tonight from Richmond Park, where St. Pat's played out a 1-1 draw against Derry City. It wasn't a bad night for the other Louth League of Ireland club, Drogheda United. They got a scoreless draw away to Shelbourne. Elsewhere in the Premier Division, Bohemians overcoming Cork City by 2-1. They went 2-0 up in that game. Cork City pulled one back but couldn't get the equaliser in front of a sold-out Turner's Cross. Former Cork City midfielder and of course former Republic of Ireland midfielder Joe Gamble was watching, and he sent us this voice note.
First half, in terms of lineups, Cork City played 3-5-2. Predominantly it was actually a 5-3-2, similar to the same formation. They won the first division last year, and Conor Healy stuck to the same formation. Bohemians were 4-3-3, more of a narrow front three with Connolly a bit more narrow, and the fullbacks were bombing on a lot more for Bohemians. I think in the first half it was far too easy for Bohemians, really. You wouldn't have thought it was actually the first game of the season, which is normally a bit more blood and guts and a bit more tackles flying in and teams are kind of going for it. But Cork City were very deep, gave far too easy possession for Bohs. They played out from the back, played through them, played around them. Full-backs for Bohs were on the ball all along. The switch that Bohemians kept doing, Cork City never really pressed because they were stuck in the back five. So the first half really resembles more of a pre-season game, to be quite honest. It was kind of 65-70% nearly to Bohs. 1-0 up at half-time didn't really reflect the actual dominance that they actually had. No, they didn't. When I say dominance as well, it's not as if they cut Cork City open. It's just they had a lot of possession, and Cork never really pressed them, so it was just too easy. Then the second half, Cork City changed to 4 at the back, a lot more aggressive, a lot more on the front foot. In general, they never really played through them, never really played out from the back. It was a lot more direct up to Keating, who did very well in fairness to him. Good in the air, he was a good grafter, and Bohs kind of struggled a little bit with him in terms of that side of it. But overall, up until the 70th minute, it was really cruise control for Bohemians. And unfortunately, from their point of view, they pressed the self-destruct button, especially Talbot, who had a bit of a beast in the last 20 minutes, to be quite honest. He gave a first goal away. It was an awful goal. Tried to be smart, tried to take a touch past the striker Keaton, but stood in the ball, and basically Keaton just tapped in the back of net, really. And then a corner came in, and he fluffed it, and it was cleared off the line. Could have easily been 2-2. He gave Cork City on his own too many chances, really, for them to get a draw, which really, again, as I said, I don't think they deserved it, because they just lacked that bit of quality. They lacked a bit of composure in the ball. I know I'm sure Colin would be disappointed with the first half performance, but in the second half, look, they did put up a good fight. Could have easily got a draw, again, more from luck than actually quality. But look, it was a good game. Bohs will be delighted. Winning away 2-1. Bit of work for Cork City to do, but I don't think their season will be based on beating or drawn or getting results from Bohemians. It's more probably the teams that will be in around them, maybe in the bottom half. You never know. Home advantage to Cork, big fans, if a big crowd, if they can get 1 or 2 good results at home, maybe turn into a bit of a fortress. But overall, right result, but a good 20 minutes for a neutral or in general to watch the game. It was a bit more feisty. So
former Cork City and Republic of Ireland player Joe Gamble, who watched the action at Turner's Cross, where Bohs got a 2-1 win against Cork City. We'll wrap up everything that happened in the Premier Division in a few moments, but let's go to the First Division. Kerry FC playing their first ever game in the League of Ireland. They hosted Cobh Ramblers. They did lose by 2-0, but it's not about results necessarily for Kerry FC this season. It's about establishing themselves as a League of Ireland team. And I also think it's a trip that everyone is looking forward to. All the Premier Division teams and their supporters want to draw Kerry away in the Cup to head down to Tralee. The game, by the way, tonight was live on Radio Kerry, and watching it was Andrew Morrissey. After the match, he sent us this voice note.
It was a very good game. Started quite slow. Kerry were obviously very nervous as they were kind of growing into the game, and Ramblers definitely showed their experience. But the crowd got behind them. There was obviously a buzz here in Tralee and all over the county all week ahead of the game, and they really kind of got behind the players. They conceded a goal maybe just before half time, which kind of knocked the wind out of their sails slightly. But in fairness, whatever Billy Dennehy said at half time, he really drove them on, and they came out a totally different team now. They had the aid of a very strong breeze behind their back. Couple of brilliant cat-like saves from both goalkeepers kind of really made the game thrilling. But 2 very well taken goals, including a brilliant free kick by Cobh Ramblers, is what really made the difference in the end. And they kind of were able to make a couple of tactical changes just to set themselves and see out the game after going 2-0 up. But I think Kerry will still be happy that, obviously not with the result, but with the way some guys played. Some of their younger guys who were just out of the academy, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, were superb tonight. The likes of Graham O'Reilly was unbelievable. We actually gave him man of the match on the radio tonight. We thought he was that good. Wayne Guthrie in goal again. Absolutely brilliant game. He's obviously just come from the Austin Stacks football team, so hasn't played soccer in a while, but I'm sure you wouldn't have known it. He was that good tonight. It was overall a really good night for Kerry FC. Granted, it wasn't the result they needed, but I think the supporters can see what they've done. And just chatting to Billy Dennehy there, the manager, Billy made a good point. These players have never played together competitively before. It's their first game, so overall, I think there'll be a lot of positives taken out of it, and they'll drive on now to Bray next week.
Andrew Morrissey of Radio Kerry joining us from Tralee, where Kerry FC lost to Cobh Ramblers by 2-0. McAllister and Jack Doherty with the goals for Cobh Ramblers. What a signing, by the way, Jack Doherty is for Cobh Ramblers. What a bit of business that was by Shane Keegan. Elsewhere in the First Division tonight, Treaty United lost 1-0 at home to Bray Wanderers. Feeney with the goal for Bray Wanderers. Waterford winning 3-0 away to Wexford. Awasharia with a hat-trick there, while Galway got a 2-1 win away to Finn Harps. Borden with the 2 goals there. Rainey got the equaliser for Finn Harps, but Borden with the second goal for Galway in the 61st minute. He also scored the first for them. That came in the 4th minute. Rainey got a penalty in the 43rd, but the winner coming with just under half an hour to go. So that's almost it for the first extra time League of Ireland voice note. Just to wrap up what happened in the Premier Division, Bohemians, the only team in the top flight to get a win tonight. They beat Cork City 2-1 away from home in front of a packed Turner's Cross. St. Pat's with a 1-1 draw here against Derry City. St. Pat's back at home next week against Shelbourne, while Dundalk drew 1-1 against UCD at Oriel Park. They also opened up last season with the draw, but of course that was against Derry. It finished scoreless at Tolka Park, where Shelbourne took on Drogheda. For full match reports and the details of what's coming up over the next couple of days and weeks, go to extratime.ie. And of course, if you've any feedback to us or want to make any comment, good or bad, you can get me on Twitter at Oisin Langan. From Richmond Park, where it finished 1-1, it is goodbye.